Hey guys, welcome back to Midweek Meta. I'm Chris, and my host always, Maddie, also known as
What's up,
Dreads.
guys?
Yep.
As we get here, as I mop up this midweek update, we're going to talk about a bird today. And not that bird. That one's gone. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Malcolm, Keen Eye Navigator. 2 mana and a blue. Pirate Rogue. Comes down 2/2, correct?
It's 2/2 flyer. Yep.
2/2. 2/2 flyer. No ETBs.
Yep.
Comes down next turn, or that turn. Hey, maybe you're playing red, which is very popular with it. A pirate deals damage to a player. Guess what you get to do? You're making a treasure.
Making that
And
booty.
guess what treasures are doing now?
Not feeding
Nothing,
Dockside.
because Dockside's gone. But again, you guys, welcome to Midweek Meta with Maddie and Chris.
Sure.
That's what we're going with.
Sure.
And but Chris here, we've teased enough times. We're 2 episodes deep. Let's talk about Malcolm.
Okay.
You send me some links. I'm going to
Yep.
toss it over to you. We're going to start with, I'll make sure we're all on the same page here. We got all-time rates. I got it pulled up here.
Cool. So this is pulled from EDH Top 16 probably about a week ago. I know that Malcolm Tana, I think, got another Top 16. EDH Top 16 right now is kind of down, so I'm glad I pulled all this information. Can't pull any of that data. So we'll go over it in general. I'm just going to put it over here. Sorry if I'm looking away, guys. I'm reading off. So going over on all-time win rate in general, Bruce Tarl plus Malcolm is going to be actually two top 16s, but only 6 players total for the entire time that's played. So it's kind of interesting. 33% win rate. I know on your screen it doesn't show that, but it's gotten 2 top 16s. You got Tevesh Malcolm, which is 1 out of 6, so it's 16.67%. The next one, Malcolm Tana, which is 14 top 16s its entire life, 43 plays, so for an overall 32.56% win rate. Pretty dang good. Next one is...
I want to pause you real quick on that one.
Go for
Just
it.
an update. When I was in Denver, I played against, his name's Taylor. He's with Double Sleeved MTG. Shout out here. Guy from there. Great guys. He was playing Malcolm Tana.
Yeah.
And that deck, it just like how Rock does, it just presented. And if we didn't have answers ready, he had it. And so, like, side note update, you guys, I might be looking at that deck. But, sorry, who? But anyway, I think it was a Kedis is what? Yeah, there we go. Kedis.
Yep, Kedis is the next one. 7 top 16 total lifetime, 60 players, 11.67% conversion rate to top 16. Not so great. We have...
Which do you think...
Yeah, go for it.
Do you think on that one is more... Sorry to keep interrupting, but,
no, go for it.
Do you think that one is more of a scene, because you said the player count on that one's pretty high, and not to be rude, but only 7 top 16s. Do you think that one's because when you think Malcolm, you think Malcolm Kedis? You know what I mean? When I think of it, at least, when I think Malcolm, I do think Malcolm Kedis.
I think it did well for a short period of time. I think there was 2 prominent players, at least that I know of. One was Comedian, MTG. I know that he was big about this deck, so I know one of those top 16 is his. Which he can basically put anything. I know that he championed that deck a year ago, probably, maybe something like that. Not saying that it's not a good deck and that you can't win with it, but I just know for sure 2 of those top 16s are incredibly good players in general, and I think it's a possibility. Not sure, no evidence whatsoever. Just what I feel of what the data kind of shows me is that it got popular for a while. As we go through it, it might dwindle in play after a certain period of time. You can always look up the stats yourself on EDH Top 16. But I believe it got popular because some prominent people played it, and unfortunately, that's sometimes how it works. One of your top, players plays it, and then a bunch of people play it. It happens. It seems like fun, and unfortunately, same thing with like Magda or even Kinnan in general. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, is it like you hate to say, most of your pet decks are the ones that people are like, oh, this deck's so cool. They jump on it and the play rate shoots up, but the conversion goes.
Yeah, I guess you guys should all play Yuriko. I play that deck. I think it's very viable. I think it has legs more than what it has before. I think that the meta slowed down in general. I think it draws a lot of cards. I think it's like a version of some other blue-black decks, and it seems interesting for sure. I think it has legs, especially with the new Planeswalker with Ninjutsu.
Oh,
yeah.
To think a Planeswalker is going to be doing work at CDH again, it's like, yes, well, Yada. All right. Well, I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. But back into it. It looks like up next we got Vile Malcolm. Looks like, if I'm reading the right, I'll make sure. I guess we're on the right chart. I got it at 17 top 16s.
Yes. You're on the right chart.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, sweet. Okay, so I'll let you keep going from there. So.
Yep, 90 play total for 18.89% conversion rate. Francisco Malcolm, 0%, 10 play total. Timna Malcolm, which some people have been talking about a little bit, having some legs, and it's interesting. You can play kind of stack C control. I don't know. We'll see. At 14 top 16 for a 15.05% conversion rate. Your main ones that you're seeing right now are going to be Vile and Tana, really played. And just like you wanting to play Tana, I already have them in the mail. We'll see how that goes. I don't.
Wait, you got it? You got Tana in the mail right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I got 2 Tanas in my box. Why don't you hit me up? Come on.
Foil? You have a foil Tana?
I got a foil Tana.
Okay. I should do that more often, realistically. So the next one is going to be the 2024 Malcolm rate. So I just kind of okay, let's break it down. The 2024 Malcolm X rate.
Yeah, as we jump to this 2024 Malcolm X rate, let's take a look at this. Looks like someone got a 2 with Bruce Malcolm. All right, you said you got some spice there. Let's talk about that. Okay. Real quick for you analytical nerds over here. Not nerds, I apologize. Analytical people, because I'm into it too. 2 top 16s, 6 players, 33% conversion.
Okay.
That's pretty nice. That's pretty good, you know what I mean?
It's interesting. So really when it comes down to it, because sample size, is it significant? Okay, 6 people played it, 2 people won, and no one's touched it since. So it hasn't been tested. If you've played only one game of this commander and you top 16, well, you have a 100% win rate. I guess we got to play it. It's like it's not significant. There's a lot of decks in general that are not explored in CDH that are potentially viable. I mean, you had a colorless Eldrazi Cascade deck that just came out not too long ago. It's gotten 2 top 16s in like the last month. No one was playing it. I know Nate was looking at it because it's just up his alley in general. It's expensive, so proxy it, please, if you're going to test it out, Nate, and show us what's up. It seems really interesting in general, but with there only being a couple, it's like that's where it's like, okay, does it even have any legs? And I'd love to explore it. I think in general, you definitely want with Malcolm, you want red, blue, X. That's kind of why I didn't go into the other color pairs in general, because if you get rid of Buccaneer, then you get rid of essentially plain Najila effect, if you will. Commander plus other creature win the game, essentially. So that's why we didn't deviate or look too much into that in general. As you can see, Tavesh for this as well, 5 played, 0 win, or conversion to top 16. Tana actually goes...
Sorry, pause on that Tavesh one.
Yeah, go for it.
Have you... I haven't seen it. The last time I saw a good Tavesh deck was the Crom Tavesh. I don't know. Tavesh is a good guy, but I don't know. I just haven't seen. Maybe we're gonna see him more. Maybe it's the 5-drop that was hard, but I don't know.
You're not gonna see him. You're not gonna see him with the bans. I really don't think so. Getting him out anytime soon is just okay. It doesn't feel good. It's why are you playing 2 Kenris in your command zone that don't give you 5 colors or a win condition in themselves? That's just me personally. It doesn't make any sense. Cool, make 2 thralls, but I had to wait till turn 3 or 4 to play this. Not enough. Not good enough. It's just not. So, no, I don't see too many people with Tavesh in general. I've seen Rograk Tavesh in general because it's quite interesting. Black red, always pretty
Yeah.
good. I don't know why you wouldn't play blue, but it is what it is.
Well,
So
some people like to watch the world burn, but
I
yeah, as we jump back into this,
Sure.
you're good to go. Give us our next one here.
So we're going back into Tana Malcolm. 13 to top 16, 32 played for conversion rate of 40.63. Pretty freaking good for this year. Starting off, so it's actually jumped up this year. Kind of interesting. Kedis 7 top 16s, 44 players, 15.91. So once again, nothing too crazy. Come down on the amount of players. I think the last one was 6. So it's come, yeah, most of the top 16s happened this year, 2024. Vile is up ever so slightly, 15 top 16s, players 72 and 20.83% conversion rate. Francisco, once again, still 0%, and Malcolm Tana, 12 conversion, 76 players with a 15.79% conversion rate. So once again, our two contenders for Malcolm are Tana and Vile.
Looking over this list with you, again, like you said, Malcolm Tana, Malcolm Vile, top 2 decks, but you do have, I don't know, it's a hard one. I agree with you. The Bruce Tarl and Malcolm, it needs more players.
Yep.
And maybe that's what I'll do. Is maybe that's the little bit unexplored area. Maybe I'll go play with that one.
It's quite interesting. Yeah.
It's like you said, though, you got to have that blue red plus X. I guess we'll get more into that, but I definitely would love to talk more about the conversion rates here on these two. So I guess we'll jump to the next slide here.
Okay, Malcolm's summer. This is where it gets a little bit heated. So now we're going from June until current-ish. I think we had one Tana play, like I said, a week back. So Bruce, 0 conversions, top 16, so not great. One person played it this summer. Shout out to you. I don't know who you are, but keeping the dream alive. Love it.
Hey.
Tana, 6 conversion, top 16, 13 players, 46.15% conversion rate to top 16. Pretty freaking good. Once again.
Oh, yeah.
Kedis, 1 top 16, 17 played, 5.88 conversion rate to top 16. Vile, 9 top 16s, 40 played, 22.50% conversion rate. Once again, they, Vile converted more overall, but there were more people by a considerable amount, so maybe some bad players played it. Who knows? And then Timna, Malcolm, 3 conversion, 30 played, 10% conversion rate. So as you can see, it's quite interesting that it's gone about this way. We do have one more graph. Any comments on anything that you have?
I think it's kind of funny. Like you made a good point there. Having bad pilots is, and it sucks to say. And I'll say this right now. I will 100% always stand behind this. Play what you want to play. Like
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be like, you gotta play Roxai, you gotta play Sisay, which I can't wait to actually talk to Dan in person about that one. Like,
Sure.
what's going on with Sisay? But I want to see people play their own deck. So when I see like that comment about bad pilots, it sucks to hear. But it's how many people were like, "Oh man, this deck looks so fun. I'm playing pirates," and they go to these tournaments because they're at local meta. They're kicking butt, and they think you can do a tournament. And they just get their face smashed in,
Sure.
and that happens. I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen.
It's a difficult deck. Vile is a difficult
does.
deck. I feel like I'm a decent pilot at most things, and some things like, nope, you got to be in combat for this. Like, oh God, where am I at? I just messed this entire thing up. I think I should have won 2 games on Sunday when we were playing, just because I either discarded a card when I didn't need to, and I'm like, what am I doing? Or I'm like, oh, this is not how this works at all. And no one else knew it either until someone that actually played Malcolm in general was like, no, that's not how this works. I'm like, oh crap. Okay. So it's a difficult deck. It's unlike your 5-color piles. It's unlike your Nagilas. It's unlike your blue farms. It's a creature combo deck that you need to know when you need to be, just like with anything else. Magda, it took me, I didn't want to go to my first tournament, and I'm like, I could be ready, but I'm like, I am not comfortable enough to know the ins and outs. And you can't just pick these decks up and just say, cool, we're good to go, if you haven't played anything like them. You really just can't. So it's interesting.
Which little speak easy here. What deck are you? What deck are you taking the next tournament?
Um, man,
Or are you still haven't decided?
I mean, I slay with Magda. I absolutely slay with Magda. I would be stupid not to bring Magda. Definitely my last tournament. I didn't have much agency because either people would hate me out of the game, or I would have to play my spells and crack my treasures unnecessarily because no one else had any air action. The meta we're currently in, I'm not a fan of it. But us going out of town or checking out some other stuff, I don't think I can play Malcolm just in our uh, bigger pond.
Local scene.
Local scene, I can play it at our shop all day long. I'm not worried about that.
Well, sorry, when I say local, I mean like the Salt City crew. Like I don't think
can't
I think
I can't play it. There's too many irresponsible players. That I don't have nothing against anybody, but that's really what it is. We have too many irresponsible players, and I'm okay to say that. There's nothing wrong with that. We had a lot of new players that were throwing games. I'm like, cool. I have less agency in that. I think if I play against good players, I think we have a handful of very good players at our shop in general, and I can play and reason with them like, hey, let's not be fucking crazy right now. But when people are just going off and feeding Ristics and Mystics and just like, okay, cool, there's nothing I can do here. Giving the game away multiple times. I think 3 out of my 4 games were all pretty much given away. They were all pretty much given away. I'm like, cool. Comes down to politicking. Could have probably politicked a little bit better. But I don't believe that I should have to play their game for them. And it kind of takes it away from me and definitely makes me feel like the bad guy if I'm telling them how to play their game.
Oh yeah.
So
and it just call back to our first episode. Sometimes when you do that, someone doesn't understand when you're making that. Like, hey, no, I'm putting this out here. It's not that you're trying to talk down to them. You're trying to explain to them because Mr. B over here is going like, oh, go crazy with my 0 drops. You're like, no, I gotta get this thing out. I gotta drop. I gotta stop them. You're like, no, Stacks piece gotta kill you, and you're like, oh, stop doing that. But like you said, we got one more graph to do. Let's jump to it.
Okay.
It looks like it's conversion rate.
Yeah, this one's quite interesting. So we basically.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the other one was like, cool. We did, the entirety of EDH top 16, then did top of the year for 2024, and then summer, right? So it's kind of interesting and shows us a little bit more. It's actually broken down by month for Tana and Vial specifically. I think these are your 2 strongest ones, and played the most in general, so we can collect the most data to try and give us a picture of actually what's going on. So obviously I'm going to put up the picture of this conversion rate. It's quite interesting. September of last year, 12% for Tana. Vial was 14.28. Some of these, they weren't played that month at all, like March for Tana. It wasn't even played in March at all. 0% conversion rate, but then again, it wasn't even played. But I'll definitely put all these statistics, September moving on to September. I think we have 1 conversion rate for the month of September for Tana. But really, what I want you to look at in general, I mean, you can kind of see like the Tana kind of doing really well, then dropping, and then not doing so hot. Let's see. Vial. February.
Oh yeah, you watch April. Yeah. Thank you very much. December, January starts to teeter, and then March, no one played. No one converted.
No, for Tana.
And
then in May, they played heavily, and then it's kind of come down. So it seems like a lot of people converted, maybe the right people. It'd be interesting to see kind of where it was. There was one person on top 16 that played in top 16 like 2 or 3 times with it, so I kind of followed their deck a little bit. Definitely consideration for sure. And we'll get into the nitty gritty in general. But realistically, when you see it, when both of them kind of teeter down, because they were both pretty high in the summer from June moving forward. In June, they both, as you can see, kind of start coming down. My synopsis about that is that Nadu came out in June. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is and what happens when Nadu was around. I think people put in more spot removal. It could have been that these decks aren't quick enough. There's a couple different things. My my educated guess would say there was more spot removal. These are creature-based combos in general. Now that people have more spot removal, they're ready for it. So maybe people didn't feel like that it was a viable deck current in the meta, or it was being hated more out. I mean, it's not like it wasn't being played at all, but they both kind of ticked down. And the one that doesn't tick down as much is Vile. It doesn't tick down as much off the bat as soon as past June comes around. Then again, it was doing insanely good in May. A couple different reasons realistically could be for that one. Not going over it like we did Magda, where we went boom, boom, boom. This came out, that came out, this came out. But definitely in March and April, Vile did great. In June, it did great. And then realistically, in May for Tana, it did insanely good. Tana, overall, the conversion rate is insane. You just like Blue Farm, you don't need a million win cons to win the game. You need 2. And guess how many that Blue Farm, the best deck, has? 2, maybe 3 as a side option, worst case scenario. Like you were saying with Kiki Jiki, this also, the Tana line goes infinite with now 2 drops. You have the 1/4 that untaps when it enters the battlefield, so it infinitely makes Kiki Jiki, and now you have Fear of Missing Out that you can go infinite combats. Cool. Now you have 2 drops, once again, that you can play. One has something that's going on that you need Delirium in order to go off, but it's quite interesting. And that's kind of where I wanted to get in general, where I think Vile is incredibly good in general. I think some graveyard shenanigans haven't really been explored too much. Lively Dirge is a great card. If you haven't seen that one, you basically pay mana into it, and you can entomb and reanimate within the same spell. And with Malcolm, if you have a bunch of mana, cool. I just needed this one card, and then I kind of just go for it. I definitely think there's some interesting ones. There's a new enchantment that's coming, or that has come out. I don't remember the name of it. It'll be on screen, but it does make... It's a ley line, so at the beginning of your turn, you can turn all your things into pirates. Definitely a consideration for sure. Looking at some other ones.
It's the blue one, I believe.
Yes,
yeah.
It's the blue one, absolutely. It's interesting. I'm playing with a couple different other things that like turn everything into a creature type of your choice. There's what I can think of. There's about 6 different options that I'm looking at right now. 4 are permanents and 4 are permanents and 3 are spells, so 7 total. Just kind of looking at. I don't know if you really want to go into that. There's a couple that like. There's a lot of creatures that ping when an artifact goes to the graveyard and when it enters the battlefield. So if you can turn them into a pirate, kind of interesting.
Well, we've got into kind of the nitty gritty of this. What I want to get into right now, and you kind of did your digging here. Red blue is kind of the guaranteed colors you got to go with.
Sure.
And we can get a little bit more into that maybe on a later day if someone wants us. Comment that if you'd like us to get into that for the red blue cards, but. We're pretty both aware that those cards are needed.
Sure.
We got tasked with, let's find out, what do the other colors offer?
Sure.
You've said you got green and black covered, you said.
Sure. Yeah.
I got white. How about we jump into green? Kind of as people are joking, CEDH, the least played color. But there's some crazy things. I play enough green decks. There's some things that can do some crazy stuff. So
I don't want to get rid of all of my spice, but I have some spice, okay? And I'll give you a couple different things, okay? So really what green is going to give you is uncounterable, protected, from your library to the battlefield, instant speed, go for the win. So green in general, it has a lot of different tutor effects that can just kind of go for it in general. You got your Eldritch Evolution. You got your other effects that I can't even think of. You got your Neoform, which is interesting. You sacrifice a 2 and you go get your Glinthorn Buccaneer, which is interesting. I really like it in general. So green has a lot of that. You have your other spells such as Autumn's Veil, which is insanely good. Cool. Protection, gives all your stuff hexproof. Cool. Good to go. You have your Vexing Shusher. That's a pretty decent one as well. Cool. Counter, make them uncounterable. You have a great one, Legolas's Quick Reflexes, as well as a protection spell. Cool.
I hate that card.
with Kiki Jiki, cool, you can kind of go crazy with that as well. And Wrath, I mean, you're probably winning it anyways, but still pretty interesting. You have Alazor's Shepherd. You have, man, there's so much spice, and I don't want to give it all away because
No, that there you gave the good points there. Like
it's a little cooking, just a little cooking over here,
Which, hey, here's a great side point. You want to get that spice away? Give us that like and follow. We're trying to hit those subscriber numbers.
That's what you get with green. You get pod combos with Kiki from the graveyard or from your battlefield or from your deck to the battlefield at instant speed. Whereas like black, we'll get into that a little bit. Black, you have a little search. You have capabilities to search, but then you have to cast it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit like, well, if they counter my spell that went and got it, cool. It's not gone yet. It's not in the graveyard. But with it being in the graveyard, there's a couple different reanimation spells in general that you can go for. So you might want to put it into the graveyard. Probably the best reason being black and blue is, of course, to keep the Thassa's Oracle line to win the game. Super small, compact.
Should a Thassa's or Demonic been banned too?
Man, that one's kind of interesting. I know I asked Rich about it, and he gave a very interesting point about it. At some point in time, you want a boogeyman in general. I don't know if this was his actual point in general, but going off of his thing, you want clean lines. You want some clean lines. If you have no clean lines, then no one has clean lines. So, do you want to be playing a 90-minute game? Realistically, no. I want to be able to have the cool. If you don't respect me, I'm gonna pop off. Same with Magda. Listen, if you don't respect me, I'm going to pop off. And if you don't have those, then no one has to respect anything. So you don't have to play the best spells. You can just do whatever you want to do and nothing, tap out whenever you want. It's like, but that's not what CEDH is about. CEDH is about either going for it or being responsible and figuring out that line in your windows and whatnot. So it's so compact. I think you need to have.
It needs to stay. Okay.
I think it needs to stay, personally. I know that it feels bad, but cool, next game. How many times have you really lost to early game Thassa's Demonic? Not too many times. Because normally someone has it.
It's from greedy tables I lose it the most, I'll be honest with you.
Sure.
You guys, that's one thing. We always want to have fun here, you guys. So we want to look at these decks and understand the adds to them, which those green adds, which you hit all the great points. And like you said, I don't want to give a lot of spice away. But like Destiny Spinner, the amount of people that didn't respect Destiny Spinner in my Atraxa deck, oh, that's just a 2-drop. Yeah, but now you can't stop my food chain.
Sure.
You have to remove it off the battlefield, and half the time people didn't have those removal spells.
Yep.
And so it was nice, but it's just green adds that protection like you were saying. But what about, like you said, Boogeyman of the format, the black side? What is your key points the black adds to? Which this is your prime example. You gave us the Tana side. Now we have the Vile side. Why is black the important side?
Like I said, very compact win condition in Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consultation. Super great there. You get access to a lot of tutors in general. Cool. So now I can play a better control kind of plan in general. Man, there's quite a few really good cards. Lively Dirge is insanely good. You can entomb different cards. It definitely allows you to play. Man, now it's not as good anymore. God, Mayhem Devil. Dang it.
Oh.
Yeah, I was playing Mayhem Devil. You turn it in. You turn it into. I mean, it's still not bad because if people are going heavier green in general in the meta, it still is another thing to kill certain creatures that are painful 1/1s all over. So it's not horrible. It's not nothing. But it's like besides sack lands on my own artifacts, Mayhem Devil kind of goes down in general. But there's a lot of other different. I have 10 treasures. Let's keep doing this. With the Malcolm out, cool. In response, crack another one, kind of like a Magda kind of line in general. Cool. I'll crack again, and making infinite treasures. No big deal. It's kind of interesting. Definitely considering just kind of going Grixis Pirates heavy and just turning everything into Pirates. Probably Probably not the best winning line, but it seems more interesting than.
I know it could work definitely.
It seems interesting. The Tana lines seem a little bit just one note. Like everything in the deck does really a couple things really well, and it doesn't seem like it's. I don't know. Just it seems like it's very consistent when it does, and that doesn't seem overly fun. But I don't know. I'm definitely gonna try it out. But Black gives a lot of pingers. It gives a lot of search capabilities. Beseech the Mirror is one of those cards that hasn't really seen too much play, but really gets everything out of your deck as well. Once again, with Malcolm, you make a lot of mana in general. Without a Dockside, I don't have to sack my treasures realistically anymore. No Rod feels kind of bad, but okay. I mean, Professional Facebreaker still does its thing, which I absolutely love in the deck entirely. It's cool. Get 11 treasures. Cool. I can't use my treasures. I can still crack them. It's a creature ability. Let's go. Super good.
No, absolutely.
Super good. Makes more treasures in general. Make it a pirate. Swing it. Oh man, it's so good. I did that on Sunday. And
nice. Okay.
Disgusting. Super good.
I guess I gotta go dig out my Malcolm out of my bulk box of Commander Legends Uncommons.
Dude, it's all about that brew. It is super interesting. I like it. The Tana line seems more consistent, but the Vile version just seems more fun to me personally. It's like I said, you need to know the lines. It's a difficult deck. Just because you pick up the deck does not mean you're just going to win the deck. There's a lot of nuance to it that I am going to take my time learning and probably swap between these two decks in general and try to get to know the lines because I think it definitely has legs for sure. And I think creature-based combo Nagila-esque decks that actually don't have to connect but win in combat is really interesting for sure.
Okay, cool. I'm super excited. I hope I present well enough for you guys. Chris is very good at this. I'm not so good at this part, but you asked me to look into what white can offer Malcolm. And
cool. Going Bruce. Let's go.
I was like, man, what does white offer? Okay, well, first one, everyone knows, silence.
Sure.
That's a 91, it's an auto include. If you have white in your deck, you got to put a silence because we are in such a game state where you keep that 1 mana up and you can stop that rock side player. You can stop a lot of things. Yeah, there's some decks that silence did nothing to because they didn't cast, they just activated. But it still was such a strong card. And then I started thinking more about, okay, white's got some other things. And then I thought about it, and Bruce, I hope you laugh at this. My favorite card, Smothering Tide. I can't believe I didn't think about that. I get to play with that card. No wrong. I hate asking you pay the 2, but at the same time I enjoy it because that look on their face of like, oh,
you remembered your trigger. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna go through these. So you got Smothering Tide.
Yep.
You got removal. You got some of the two strongest pieces of removal that are exile.
Yep.
Like I don't know what it is, but there's so many different ways to give indestructible. But being able to sword something or path something. And I'm on the fence sometimes with path because I don't like giving that land because sometimes, oh, you gave me a land, I play commander again. It happens.
No one's playing basic. Let's get real. No one's playing basics. That's the devil's advocate.
It is true. That's devil's advocate there, but how many times have I have to path Magda and you get your basic over here, dog?
Just cast Magda again. Let's go.
But another one, you get protected. You get protection. Like you can get ways to protect your own things. The big one is Teferi's protection. I'm kind of against it in the format itself because when you Teferi protection, everything's gone. And usually when you have to do that, you have a piece that they're trying to kill you over. Which, is it a stacked piece? Is it a lock piece? But sometimes Teferi is what you need. Sometimes Mr. Magda over here pops off and make an infinite creatures and is going to win with a dual caster, and you're like, Teferi's. And you get to survive because he has to get rid of all the dual casters.
Maybe, or I just kill you with infinite God Pharaoh statue triggers. That happens too.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, no, 100%. There's wins to go through it, but white gives you that slight protection.
Sure.
Another thing up, catch-up mechanics. I have not seen a color besides red with Dockside. Catch-up mechanics, you have your trouble in pairs.
Sure.
If someone's drawing 2 cards, you get to draw a card. Someone's making treasure. I'll look at it, but it's a strong card. Like I'm testing. I want to think I'm gonna test it in my own Marty's Cowboy deck. Which, speaking of Esper, I'm working on that deck. So we'll see what comes from there. But another thing is to land tax.
Sure.
How many times have you had only that one land and it's been 3 turns, but you're able to pull land tax out and get those lands because you're playing that mono white deck, or who knows, you're playing Bruce Tarl and Malcolm, and you're 1 land short to get Malcolm out to start making treasures. Well, that land tax just saves your day. So,
Sure.
I like that. And then stacks pieces. There's 3 big pieces they hit. You hit your artifacts, you got your blind obediences, you got your dauntless dismantlers,
Yep.
and they all come in tapped.
Sure.
Another one, and then you got creatures. Blind obedience hits both of those, but also you have authority of the consult.
Okay.
There goes that aggro infinite creatures, like we said, deck. They're all coming tapped, and I just gained a life for each one of them.
Sure.
So, the other thing, spells. How many white decks have you seen that run all the rule of law effects, the stack Z, the only play 1 card a turn, you can only play an artifact, and that's it. So, I just think white offers the protection and then the stack side.
Sure.
That's kind of the cool thing is you got your protection, and then it very wiggles its way in the middle. Very like kind of Venn diagram in the middle is the removal side. But biggest thing is protection and stacks, because I think, like you were saying, Malcolm could do a lot of crazy things, blue and red.
Sure.
But if I can silence you when my Glinthorn is going off, cool. Well, you can't respond to that. So I'll say this right now. I think with my list on Marnius I'm working on,
yeah,
I'm going to see that as my Esper. But I think the next coming, I think I'll probably put it together the next couple days. Put this list, and I might shoot you a message on asking for a couple bum a couple cards off you.
Okay.
But
sure.
I want to try, because that's not been I've kind of stayed away from Jeskai as my competitive side, so we'll see.
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It hasn't felt good, and it doesn't feel any better now outside of like Elsha, the Infinite. Outside of that, I don't like
The only reason I say that, I feel like I can use my political side to get us me a little farther. I'm a very politically driven player. I feel like I can play a little bit there, and be like, hey, let me hit you for these 2 treasures. I can get out the answer to this guy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm playing with, because I have an Aegea 5-color good pile of stuff. So I can pull a lot of good things out of there and build this deck. So
Sure.
We'll definitely see. But you have a good point. Maybe if Marnius isn't holding up, because the big thing is it's a 5-cost commander. Maybe Timna Malcolm is where I need to go.
Oh,
and I hate to say it.
You're gonna hate me in the local meta. You're gonna hate me in the local meta. I hope you understand. Like, if I'm playing Magda at all, you're gonna hate me. We've had other people play Marnius in the past, and normally if I get a Blood Moon down early, he doesn't do anything. Now, I don't know. Maybe you're a bit more experienced player. I think you're definitely good. I think he's a good pilot as well. But maybe, I don't know. I think Blood Moon right now is. Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm so happy Dockside got
you,
banned. Oh my god,
Did you get that art? Did you get that fancy art for Blood Moon?
I'm still waiting. It hasn't showed up on
Oh.
TCG yet. I think
Okay.
it's not out yet, and I'm just waiting. It's going to come down in
absolutely.
price. It's going to be insane. That plus fear of missing out, same kind of artwork in general. Oh god, yes. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
absolutely.
yeah.
But I hope this all, everyone tuning into this update on our midweek meta update with Chris and Maddie here. Biggest thing is Malcolm gonna be? I hate to say it, yeah, we lose the Jeweled Lotus and the Mana Crypt get it out super fast, but you can still pop it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Is it gonna replace some of these because it can start generating that treasure? Like, well, I guess that's what we're gonna see.
It's interesting.
Catch us next time on that one, I guess. We'll give you an update on how we're looking at with the meta here. But again, you guys, thanks for tuning in. My name's Maddie.
I'm Chris. What's going on?
Catch us on X, catch us on Facebook, catch us on Instagram, all the socials. And hey, if you got any idea on some tokens that you're thinking of that you might want, leave a comment. Let us know. We're thinking of some ideas. But anyway, you guys, be safe, have fun, and remember, be confident, but don't be condescending.